Hi again. Backlash here. I think this year I fell off of the face of the earth a little bit. Thanks, world. Love you. So it's December again, and with the start of December comes the holiday, the Spotify rap season. Yeah. So yeah, Spotify Wrapped 2021 dropped a few days ago, and I found for the last 2 years my Spotify Wrapped playlist was pretty spot on for what I enjoyed for the majority of the year. But this year, maybe not so much. So for this year, instead of an honorable mention section like we did last year, I'm going to go about it a little differently. There are a handful of songs in my 2020 this year that I personally don't think are representative of what I enjoyed the most. So, though I am still going to go through and review my generated top 20 again, I'm going to point out when I get to a song that I feel shouldn't be in there, and I'm going to insert a song that doesn't show up that I think deserves a spot. That isn't to say I don't like the songs that I'm replacing. I do. I just think in a top 20 ranking, they shouldn't show up. No, so like last year, I'm gonna post the link to my Wrapped playlist in the description, and it might not match up 100% because there are duplicates from last year, and I'm not gonna re-review them. So, if you want, you can check out last year's video and check out the songs in there that you didn't see, and yeah. But with that out of the way, let's start the interesting part. So, number 20. Don't Know How to Love You by Haley Reinhart. Where to start? First off, I'm pleasantly surprised to see a song that I recently found show up in my top 20 because it shows how much I listened to it in the last little bit, and that's a lot. Like, I found this song like 2 months ago, so that's pretty good. So the core of the song is a bluesy guitar accompaniment that sets a great backing for Haley to just emote in her vocals, with the track adding additional instruments to swell the mood as Haley belts and just lets out the full rasp in her voice, only for it to smoothly fall back down in energy to the slow ballad vibes that the song starts out with. Number 19, Free Mind by Tash Sultana. This entire album is just really, really good. If you haven't checked out Flow State, do yourself a favor and do it after you watch this. For an album that really likes to show off like really good guitar work, Free Mind decides it doesn't want to fall back on it. It's gonna do bass, it's gonna do synth, it's gonna do pads, and it's gonna do drum machines. And there's still guitar, but it's in the background, and it just has a little bit of flavor with little staccato notes that emphasize the rhythm and just the overall tone the rest of the instruments are trying to set. The song's really just a vibe, and you should check it out. Or you could check it out with the entire album. That's also good. I recommend it. And you should listen to it on a chill night you have to yourself because this album is just a vibe. Vibes are good. I like vibes. Number 18, Forest by Matthew Thiessen and the Earthquakes. Okay, so we've gone to the first song on the list that I'm going to replace. I don't think it should be in here. I'm honestly surprised it made it into my top 100. It's not to say I don't like it, I just don't think I listened to it that much, so I'm surprised it actually made it into the top 20. So what I do like about the song, though, is the production they used when they recorded the guitars. You should listen to this song with headphones on, because when you listen to it, it's like you can feel every little vibration from the guitar strings on your ears, and it just sounds really nice and crisp. Like, it's really good. Musically, it's a good song. I think it's a good, like, singer-songwriter, folksy kind of thing. It reminds me of, like, Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros, but there isn't a whole lot I can say about it, except that it's fun, and it's fun to listen to. So, replacing number 18 is Feel a Little Closer by Silver and Gold. Can you helplessly fall in love with a vocal performance? I can. This song, instrumentally, sounds like a pretty solid pop rock banger, but what really sets it apart is the vocals. The lead singer's vocals are just like butter and the smooth timbre of a musically trained theater vocalist, and it's so good. These vocals are just placed so well in the mix, they just elevate everything around them throughout the track, making what would be a good but kind of forgettable track into something really special, and it keeps me coming back every time. Number 17, Gray by Good Boy Daisy. So, two in a row that we're going to replace a song on the list. Still, not to say that this is a bad song. This is a good song. This is a great song. But I think Good Boy Daisy shows up twice on this list, and I feel like out of the two, this is the one I feel like shouldn't have made it in this year. But to put simply, the song is just a good pop rock song. I think an enjoyable part of the track is that it swells its energy in and out, and it builds up and then just loses energy all the way through the first 2/3. And it just has like this cool back and forth, and then just on the end it explodes. And the vocals are really good. I'm going to talk about that probably in the next the vocals are just really good. I'm gonna probably talk about it when I talk about the other song from them on the list, but it's just really good. Replacement number 17, Prehistoric by Yeah Yeah. So, I think the song would have made it really high in the list last year if I hadn't found it so late. Like, I added it on October 30th, and it is the 6th today. And so yeah, I think if it was out probably as long as the other songs, I probably would have had it in like my top 5. But yeah, Prehistoric sucked me in with its mood in like a contradictory way. It has like an energetic ambience to it. Like it's like ambient, but there's still like a drive to it, and it's produced like with like really nicely done like lo-fi feelings to it. Like the instrumental's atmosphere pairs really well with the vocals, and they have like a reserved melancholy to them, and it just creates a cool space in your head when you listen. You should listen to it. It's hard to explain this song. It's just done really well. Number 16, Hypocritical by Waters. So, do you want a good feel-good bop? Because if you do, you should listen to this. It's got like a really infectious energy to it. Opening up with just this really thumpy kick drum just makes you want to move to it, and it just drives the song into the chorus. And then matches it with a really catchy synth riff and a really catchy vocal, and you just want to yell along to it. It just feels good. Like, not much to say here except just listen to the song. It's kind of the song it's hard to explain how fun it is to listen to, so you just listen to it. It's a pretty simple song, which is hard to go in depth on, but it's just good. Yeah, it's fun, and I think that's sometimes all you need. Number 15, Weather by Ginger Root. The song just has such a good vibe, just like good mellow vibes. The keys and the bass carry such a nice energy to them without it being too crazy. And as someone who loves a good electric piano tone, having that being the lead instrument to such a smooth song is just really good. And the production's also really nice, with the vocals being given a bit of compression, so the energetic vocals still fall back in the mix enough for the keys to pop, and it just lets it have some room to breathe without anything being a little bit too overbearing. And like the other song, I don't know if this is a song I can keep going on about, because sometimes a song just hits right, and it just be like that sometimes. Number 14, Metropole by Anomaly. So, listen, I like this song. I really do. It probably would have shown up in last year's playlist if it didn't, but I listened to a lot more of this song last year than I did this year, so Metropole, I love you. I still love you, but you're getting replaced. So Metropole is just a really good song. Anomaly's piano skills are just amazing. They're just in the forefront of the song, and it just has a really fast technical melody to it. It's just really fun. It has really nice jazzy chord voicings behind them that just gives such a fun vibe to a song that is electronic, but it starts off with acoustic piano, but then it gives its way to synths, pads, a shit ton of sub bass, and it's just fun. But I think it's shouldn't be here, and there's something else that I listen to a lot that should be on the list this year. Replacement number 14, Letting My Heart Out by Floor. So to start off, want to say I can't get enough of the vocal melody for the chorus of the song. The song starts off with an instrumental of it, and it just sets the tone perfectly because it's just got such a nice rhythm to it. And then you get a taste of it, and then it goes into the first verse, and it has really subdued vocals and instrumentals, and you can tell just with the simple drum beat that it has, it's just gonna work its way back up, and then when it hits and you hear the actual vocals use that melody, it's just so good. So I've been a fan for Floor for a while now, but there's something in their sound that I felt was kind of lacking in their first album that I felt was got a little bit developed in their second album. But this looks to be a taste of what their third album's gonna sound like, and I think this is exactly where their music should have gone. Their production and their vocals were always really good, but now they've added some energy I think they needed and just a bit of oomph. So I think this is where they should be sonically, and I am very happy to listen to their album next year. Number 13, Love You to Death by Fickle Friends. So this song feels aggressive and sultry. There's something between the smooth and airy vocals combined with driven synth and bass that just pairs with it really well. Like the Floor song I just talked about, the vocal melody in this chorus just hits right. And again, like Letting My Heart Out, I think this is the evolution of Fickle Friends sound that their album that drops next month should have. And if it does, I'll be a happy man. This feels like the more developed version of the sound they had on their last album. Like lots of fun synths and bass, but now they're adding a bit more of a heavier side with like distorted guitars, and it's so good to hear. I've been listening to the EP they've put out a couple weeks ago, just on repeat. Number 12, Don't Want Me by Melt. So one thing changed last year after all the talk on my list last year about Melt. They finally put out an EP, and this song really stood out to me from it. Don't Want Me has all the same sensibilities of their other songs, but it's decidedly more reserved than the majority of the work they've put out before. Like, the song's mostly guitar, bass, and drums, which is different from like the full jazz ensemble style instrumentals you heard in their previous stuff. Mostly the song they're lacking the brass and keys, but the difference is that by stripping it away you get to really hone in on the vocals for the song, where it's talking about the breakdown of a relationship and the vocalist talking about a need for closure without any excuses from their other half about what's gone wrong, and they just need to hear in solid terms that it's not going to work. And even then, this is sung also with a very different energy than before. Of like their previous works, a lot of belting, a lot of like really loud, powerful vocals, and this is just like a melancholy, like crooning style vocal, and it really sets this song apart from their previous stuff. But you should really listen to their full EP, West Side Highway, to get the full effect. There's a song on there called Waves that sounds very close to what they put out before. If you compare it to this, you can really see the change in what their sound typically is like. Number 11, Never Learn by Good Boy Daisy featuring the Rex. So, this is the Good Boy Daisy song I think deserves to be in this list. This song is great. First off, it sounds like a controlled anger in a different way from like a song from last year. An example I give would be like Simmer. It's a controlled anger where the guitar and bass just create a feeling of tension that you think's just gonna like give into this really aggressive chorus. And the track subverts that, and it doesn't do it. So the actual chorus instrumentals give like a very happy vibe, and it it's a little weird to listen to the vocals because they're still not happy lyrics. They're angry lyrics, but instead of being directed at the person in the verses, they're directing it back at themselves, and it's a weird juxtaposition. But it's good, and the vocals are really good. I think what did stand out about the song, though, is the subversion on the tonality of the song makes you think it will give you, but doesn't. It just works really well, and it makes the song memorable, and I feel like that's probably why I keep coming back. It's something different. It's something good. It's really good. Number 10, String Theory by Intervals. So, last year there was a song I said should be in an anime. Here's another song this year that I think should be in an anime. Instead of being the closing credits for an anime, I think it should be like the climactic battle sequence of a shonen anime. The fade-in of the guitar at the beginning of the track sets you up for a ride that you're about to go down, and the verse is rhythmic guitar and drums. It feels like the setup of an epic moment that's about to happen. In Intervals fashion, the driving force in the song is a full-track guitar solo that dances with all the supporting instrumentals in such a fun way. The song just feels satisfying and cathartic. It's all set pieces in shonen anime should feel, which is why I would lose my mind to hear something like this in a fight sequence. Someone replace my hero fight that has Yusei Run in it with this and see how it does. I think it would work really well. I just haven't done it. But you should. So number 9, Style by Tatsuya Maruyama. Let me get this out of the way. You need either headphones or a good stereo to listen to this song. I feel like if you listen to it on your phone speaker or anything that does mono audio, you're not going to get the full effect of the production on this song. Because the song has little accidental instrumentals in the background, and the way they've produced it and placed everything, it sounds like it's coming from like all around you, and it's just like, it's really good. But yeah, you need something with at least 2 channels on it to get the full effect, because if you do, you get like this really cool soundscape around all your head that just sucks you in when you're listening to it. And another thing that's pretty cool about the song is the accidental like instrumentals or like sound. It's also nice to hear the more like found footage percussion effects that they use in the song. Like, it's really interesting and really novel because you're replacing like something that would be like a shaker with running water from a faucet, and then pen clicks instead of like a closed hi-hat, and it gives just like this cool vibe to the production of the song. It's just really fun and really relaxing, and yeah, it's pleasant. It's a nice song to have in a playlist that you have like to keep yourself in a good mood, because it's just like a nice breath of fresh air. So the Rex were actually the featuring artist in the Good Boy Daisy song Never Learn, and they are taking their spot above the 2 Good Boy Daisy songs with I Want My Life Back Now. This song's so fun. It's got like anthemic vibes to it. It's just like the core theme is wanting to ditch like the negative aspects in your life to start a clean slate. It's like there's stuff that's like taken over, things aren't good anymore, and it's just realization. It's like the title, you want your life back now, so you're gonna take these steps to get out of it. And it's like there's the chorus, they're yelling I want my life back now, that just sounds like you're gonna hear like an arena scream with them if you hear it live, and it just sounds so good. And it's got such a energy to it, and it employs like a wall of sound production to just like blast you with whatever it has, and it fits with, it's just like a desperate optimism that the lyrics give off that kind of works with that kind of energy, and it's fun. Number 7, Beneath the Mask by DJ Cutman featuring Dodger. So I haven't even played Persona 5 yet, but I have listened to this cover enough this year for it to show up on the list. It's a good song. It's a really good song. It complements the aesthetic the game gives off. Like, it's just like a really nice jazzy arrangement. And it's getting replaced. I think this song is the one track that was the closest this year to not getting replaced, but as much as I love it, I don't think it was representative of my year. So, replacement number 7. Sour Candy by Melt. So, this would have made it into last year's honorable mentions. I didn't, though, because if I had chosen to do that, I probably would have just had Melt show up a bunch in there, and that wasn't the point of the list. I wanted some diversity. But I get to talk about it now. So this is Melt's debut single as a band. It came out 4 years ago, and I still keep coming back to it, even though I found it pretty quick after it came out. It has like the jazzy laid-back vibes that I love listening to when I'm in a good mood. And it's just really well done. It's driven by like a really nice sounding Rhodes electric piano, and then just has good guitar licks that send just, it has like a good blanket of vibes for the vocals to sit on, and just plays with it. This song's bridge just opens up for a solo section that's just really good, and it's impressive to hear them solo over it because the band was really young when the song came out. And yeah, at the end you have guitar and sax just like playing off of each other in like one solo, and it's just really good. I could gush about this forever, but it's not even part of the list, so I'm probably just gonna leave it here because I should really stop. I could talk about this forever, but I won't. Number 6, Back With You by Sugar. So whoever says that YouTubers can't do music are wrong. This song's an example why. Like, this is the off and on project of content creator Steven Suptic of Sugar Pine 7. And Back With You's really, really good. Like, I'm not usually a fan of the use of like super intense tremolo effects on stuff, but it's used really well in this track to create like a really neat atmosphere. And that in general, the effects processing on the parts in this song are really good. Like, there's that tremolo on the keys, but then also in the background, there's like a synth pad with a low pass filter that just really does a good job to provide like a lower backing onto the song without it being like sub bassy. And it really fits the vibe the song's going about. Like, it's really nice. You should listen to it because it's something that's hard to describe. Like, it's a fairly simple song, but it's just done really well. So you should listen to it with your ears and not my voice, but you should listen to most of what I'm saying with my voice, but you should listen to this one with your ears. That made sense. Number 5, Hours by Melt. So this is the third and final time on this list we're going to talk about Melt. And it's with the song Hours from their EP, West Side Highway. Something that should be immediately apparent when you listen to this song is that there's a different vocalist, because Melt actually has 2 vocalists, and I haven't been able to talk about it before. And the versatility and being able to do that's just great. Like, the standout at the beginning of the song is like this really fast delay on a snare drum. It just really makes it rattle, and it sets the tone for that the song is trying to give, which is like a very unique, like more ambient style stuff compared to what they usually do. Like, gone are the really clean, crisp vocals and like really well separated instrumentals, and now there's just like effects laden keys and guitars, and just like a soft crooning vocal that's just like washed in reverb. It works. It somehow doesn't deviate from their other sensibilities as a band, where it's unrecognizable, but it's something really different, but still feels like them. And I think the song's just a really nice way to show how many directions in the future Melt could take their sound with how this band's structured, because it gives them so many different things to play with, and it's just really fun. It's just really good. I love the band so much. I have their merch. I love this band so much. I want to see them do great things. Number 4, We All Get Lonely by the Rex featuring Tommy. So, in a way, I would describe the song as happily heavy. It's like super in your face with distortion, sub bass, heavy drums, but it doesn't sound angry. It just has this vibe to it that I don't think fits anywhere else in this list. And like, despite all the really like heavy instrumentals, the vocals are just like this like energetic high falsetto, and it just gives it a really unique sound. And it just feels it's different. It's good. I feel like I should be able to talk about it for a lot longer because it's so high on the list, but I really can't. Like, this is a song you just need to listen to get it, and it's unique, which makes it hard to describe its tone, because if I talk about individual parts, it sounds like it doesn't make sense. But it does, and it's very good. Number 3, Mist Beneath Your Basement by City Girl. So, the song that kicks off the top 3 is Getting the Axe for Something Else. The song's great. Just let me say that first. It's probably my top, like, time to chill out song that I've had all year. Like, the way the keys are modulated give it, like, a really, like, watery, like, submerged vibe to it. And just, like, you're in there, and then you hear, like, all the other instrumentals is just, like, ambient noise around you. And it's just good. There's, like, a stringed part in the song that repeats a riff throughout, and I don't know what instrument it is because it doesn't sound like it should be a guitar, but it works around all these electronic instruments, and it's great. But I don't think this is the kind of song that has the kind of feel to be accurate to what I enjoyed listening to this year, because I mostly use the song as a background track while I try to relax doing other things, and it does its job doing that, and that's why it made it so high. But again, if it's a song I'm not usually actively listening to, I don't think it should really be on here. I hope that made sense. So we're going to move on. So replacement number 3, Yeah, Yeah, Yeah by Fickle Friends. So I'll be honest, if this song had dropped any earlier in the year, it probably would have been my number 1. It has such an alluring energy to it, and I am living for it. The song is like the amped up version of Love You to Death from earlier in the list. And just from the beginning, it just hits you in the face and explodes. And you just know the energy it's going to have for the rest of the track is just going to be great. Like, the song's just like an angry fuck you to the negative thoughts and perceptions you have about yourself. And it just feels anthemic in its just honest simplicity. And like, listening to the song and thinking about tackling your issues head on just feels like the best feeling of catharsis. And you just say, fuck everything that's going wrong right now. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go all out. And it's legendary. Just listen to this song. It is the last replacement song on this list. And as far as the replacements go, it goes out with a bang. And again, really should have made it onto the base list, but it only came out a couple weeks ago, so that's why it's not here, but it honestly should be at number 1. Number 2, Left the Car Running by Whales Talk. So the second example from here where I will iterate. YouTubers can do music if it's done well. And again, this is also from Sugar Pine 7 fame. This is the musical project of member Clayton James, or Kib. And this was the debut single from his project, and I'll say it shocked me how well this was produced. Like, honestly, this sounded like something I feel like I could have turned on the radio and listened to in the best way possible. Just that it's done so clean and it's just so well mixed. Like, the first verse starts out really simple. It lets the track breathe in as you get a feel for everything. And then it just starts bringing in new instruments as it adds up until the chorus. And then the chorus just explodes. And then when the chorus ends, it doesn't even fade out like you would think it would. The second verse keeps the same structure as the first verse, but it keeps all that new instrumentation. And it just keeps that energy going until the very end. An interesting part of the song that I thought was really cool is that there are bells that are actually used in the backing percussion in the chorus, and it gives what could have been like a fairly basic pop chorus some like unique flavor and tones. Like it's just really cool to hear like the bells go off in the back. It's very fun. I think a vibe from this year's playlist is that a lot of the stuff I have in my top 20 is just really fun. Okay, so it's gonna look a little different probably, unless I can get the color correction right. It might sound a little differently because I had to reset up, but the memory card at first filled up, so I wasn't able to record. And then, second time I tried to do this, I was out of focus, so we're gonna do this again, and we're gonna re-record the number one. So, number one, Sunday Best by Valiant Vermin and Ricky Montgomery. So I think this is absolutely the song that represents what I was going out of my way to listen to this year. Like, it's really energetic, like, it's really fun, there's lots of synth, pianos, bright guitars, and just like an infectious energy to it. The amount of times that I put the song on to make myself feel a little better this year has been a little nuts. Spotify only has it tracked for 35 listens throughout the year. I feel like it's easily 100 at the least because I, at one point this year, was going through a bit of a depressive spell, and every time I wanted to try and get myself in a better mood and better spirits, I would start off listening session with this song because it's just really fun. It's just like a good way to like lose yourself in what you're listening to, and it kind of like preps you to like listen to the rest of the night with a good headspace. And like it's got such a nice 80s synth pop vibe to it, and it just makes me always want to dance and sing along to it, even if I'm just dancing in my chair. It's like there's also two vocalists in this song, and each of them takes a different third in the beginning of the song, and it really changes the energy and the atmosphere it provides. Like, the first half is Valiant Vermin singing. It's got a lot more energy. Feels a lot more upbeat because the tonality of her voice lends itself to that. And after the chorus, it goes into Ricky Montgomery's, and it's a lot more mellow. It's a lot more chill because his voice is decidedly a bit more chill, and I feel like the song takes both of the halves there, and it's kind of showing what it's trying to do, like tonally for the little last bit of the song, but it also helps keep it a bit more interesting because it's a fairly simple repeating melody in the song, so changing the vocalists up, even if they have the same melody, spices things up because their tonality is different, so it adds a different flavor. But then, anyways, when you get into the last third of the song, it put both of them together, and it just sounds really good because you get like the complete picture of what you were wanting the song to get to, and it does it, and it's really good. And yeah, I feel like I could keep talking about this forever, but if I keep talking about this song, it's just gonna be a lot of it's really good, and it's really good, and as much as I could do that forever, I don't think it'll be that interesting for you if I did. So yeah, that was number one. And so that's this year's list. I feel like it's got a similar flavor to last year's, but it's got its own vibe. I think it's decidedly more upbeat. I realized last year that I'm someone whose emotions are very much affected by their music consumption, and well, last year I feel like a lot of my music, even if it didn't show up that way in the list, was a lot less happy. There's a lot more sad jams in there. There's a lot more angry, aggressive music in there, and I don't think it was doing me any good. So this year I went out of my way to pretty much try and find more upbeat, energetic music, either stuff that immediately makes me feel good, or at some point I've started adding songs that even if they're not decidedly super upbeat, they are aggressive in a non-angry way, so I can just kind of jam myself out of a bad mood, if that makes sense. I think it worked. And while I do like all different kinds of music, and I will probably get to a point again where I start mixing and matching a lot of stuff again, I think I needed it this year, and I'm comfortable where what my tastes are at this year. And yeah, I think I just needed I needed happy this year. Happy or cathartic. Yeah. I think this will have gone on a fair bit longer than last year's video. So if you made it to the end, I'd like to say thank you for listening and trying to watch me wax poetic about what I like this year. But yeah, if you want, you can give the video a like. You can comment your top 5 down below. And yeah, I'm gonna, like I said before, I'm gonna have my 2021 rap playlist in the description. So if you're interested in my top 100, you can give it a listen. And yeah, if you want to listen to my 2021, because there were some duplicates that I omitted in this year's that are in there. So if you go through the playlist and you see some stuff that you want to submit more information on, you can watch last year's video and then also also listen to last year's playlist. I'll either have it in the description with the other one or maybe have it on a card. But yeah, you should also try and stay tuned to the channel next year. I am going to try and be a bit more consistent in my uploading. I already have a bit of a schedule set up for at least the first couple months of 2022. I'm going to try and mix it up with music and gaming. So I'm going to probably try and review the Halo Infinite campaign. And then for music, we're going to probably review the Fickle Friends album that comes out next month because I'm really excited for it and I really want to review it. I want to get more into music reviewing than I am gaming because I feel like that's what I've predominantly tried to do. But yeah, I hope to see your support in the next year. Thank you so much again for watching. So yeah, I'm going to go. Have a good day and I'll see you later. Bye.